To the honorees and finalists, congratulations. Pro staff is honored to celebrate this achievement with you, and we're proud to support manufacturing in Minnesota. Thank you and your teams for all that you do. Once again, congratulations.
Welcome to TCV's Manufacturing Excellence Conversation Series. I'm Allison Kaplan. I'm the Editor-in-Chief of Twin Cities Business. Thanks on behalf of everyone at the magazine for spending your lunch hour with us today. We're really excited. This is something brand new, and we're really excited that you're here for the inaugural conversation. This week, we're kicking off a 5-week series that will highlight recent achievements, strategies, responses to COVID-19 from all of our Manufacturing Excellence Awards recipients who are featured in the new issue of TCB, the August-September issue, which is out now. For those of you joining us today, feel free to use the comment section on the lower portion of your screen. I think we're all Zoom savvy at this point, so go ahead and feel free to post your comments, questions. We'll try to get to all of those at the end of our Express webinar here today. Before I introduce today's speaker, I'd like to briefly thank our sponsors, PNC Bank, Pro Staff, and Ware Technology Services. We couldn't do this event without you. I also want to thank our industry partners, Minnesota Precision Manufacturing Association and Manufacturers Alliance, as well as our video production team, Studio 120. And now I would like to introduce Kelly Stichter. She is the general manager at Teamvantage. Come on, Kelly. Show your face. Hi, Kelly.
Hello.
Good to be with you today virtually. Thanks for joining us. Well, Kelly leads a team that is focused on developing and producing products for medical and defense markets at Teamvantage. And Teamvantage is being recognized for its full service capabilities, its willingness to work with clients of all sizes, not just to fulfill orders, but to help them figure out exactly what is needed to solve their problems. It's the sort of work that often doesn't get the glory, but it is so critical to companies across a wide variety of sectors. We're so happy to have you in the magazine this month and receiving an award this year. Kelly has worked in contract manufacturing for over 25 years. She's held positions in engineering operations, quality, and executive management in both private and public corporations. She embraces the fast pace and challenges associated with growing a business, applying technology to streamline processes, driving continuous improvement, and developing teams to deliver creative solutions to improve lives. Welcome, Kelly.
Thank you. We're very honored to be a recipient of the award, and we look forward to the conversation today.
Good. Well, let's start, Kelly, by just kind of tell us what's going on. You're actually at the office right now in Forest Lake.
Mm-hmm.
You're an essential business. Have you been working all throughout this pandemic? Did you have any sort of stoppage or slowdown?
We did not. So we are an essential manufacturer of both medical and homeland security products. So we've been working the entire time, which we're very happy to be able to provide employment for our team. A lot of companies don't have that situation. Definitely brought on some challenges as a result of COVID. We've had an uptick in sales, which is awesome, and utilization in our plant. So it's been also hard to find labor at times just because of the increase in sales, and then also people who can't find daycare for their children and things like that. So we've really had to kind of balance and prioritize customers based on if it's a COVID related product or not. So we've had to learn a few things, do things differently than we have in the past.
Well, I want to dive into all of that, but before we do, maybe for those who aren't as familiar, can you tell us a little bit about Teamvantage, about the company and what you do?
Yeah, so we are a privately held company. We get involved with customers. The earlier the better. So we like to get involved early because then we can hopefully save them money and make better products in the end by kind of giving them some manufacturing input up front. We work with medical, defense, and aerospace customers. We'll do anything from design for molding or manufacturing and assembly all the way to final kitting and sterilization management and packaging. So we kind of, anyone can take anywhere in between and engage with us. But again, the earlier we're involved and can make changes, the better it usually is for our customer, and we can provide a better quality product.
Can you give us just like a couple examples of products that you have helped to develop or that you have a hand in working on?
I can't say any customer names, but because of confidentiality agreements, of course. But we, the COVID ones, I'll speak to those. We've been doing a lot of hospital beds, ventilators, and some kits for diagnostics. So those are some things to work on. Yeah.
So I'm really curious, if we go back to February, March, did you at the beginning of this pandemic, and I mean, none of us knew what we were really in for, but did Teamvantage anticipate, did you anticipate an uptick in demand that your clients were going to need the parts that you make?
That's a great question. Initially we weren't really sure what the response would be, but thankfully we're very diverse in our sales. A lot of customers or competitors have elective surgeries, which were pretty much put on hold. We have a very diverse markets that we serve. So within medical, we have very different segments. So thankfully, the segments that we were in, we really didn't see a downturn. We're seeing a little bit downturn now, but initially, we had customers just begging us, please, 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 can you help us make these parts? The ventilator project, it was kind of something we weren't making a lot of parts, but they asked us, we're going to uptick to like 100,000 parts. Will you help us? Can you help us? And we, of course, said we would. And so we have been. So when we first heard about it, we took some action internally here at Teamvantage to say what would our plan be if we had a downtick or if we had an uptick, how would we support it? So we actually put a little COVID plan put together for both situations. We obviously hoped we never had to put the downside in place, but we were ready if we had to. We had 15 things we could do in no order of priority, but just things we could do if something happened. Thankfully, we didn't have that problem.
That's good. How have you balanced your regular workload and demand, which it sounds like has continued, with this new interest and need in COVID-related products? How do you do that?
So initially in February and March, when this all kind of hit, we categorized our customers and their products, COVID related or COVID or not. And so then we set up a daily scheduling call where we can kind of say, okay, this is COVID, this isn't, what takes priority. Unfortunately, fortunately, we've been able to keep up with most of our demand, but some of our delivery dates have had to push out slightly just because they weren't COVID related. So that's how we did it. And then we flexed our workforce a little bit. Sometimes people in the office were running presses because we didn't have labor. We were very well trained before that happened, of course. But so we've had to just be creative in our workforce. Most of our team need to be on site, was working remote, but some of us, have had to be here the whole time to support the facility.
Well, so let's talk a little bit more about that. First of all, how many people work for Teamvantage?
About 250 people.
Okay. And what have the biggest challenges been? Have you had to modify your manufacturing facilities to handle the pandemic, or what have been the biggest challenges?
Yes, we definitely had to do that. Some of our workflow is not set up so you can be 6 feet apart. So we put up plastic barriers. And when we did, then people took them down, which were like, no, you can't do that. We are here to protect you and make sure that you're safe. So we put them back up and made sure they couldn't take them down. So we've had to put up things in the lunchroom. We had weekly communications just about here's what's going on, here's what we're doing, here's why it's important to be careful, here's our disinfection policies, all those sorts of things. So we really were communicating all the way through June, pretty much every week to the team about here's the actions we're taking, here's why we're doing it. We see an uptick, you might see some changes here, but here's why. Of course, we provided different kinds of face coverings for our people to wear, depending on, if they have a medical condition or not. So we have cloth, disposable, we have face shields, try to make them as comfortable as possible when they are here and working. And then we basically said everyone in the building has to wear a mask. We thought that there shouldn't be separation between people who are more in the office versus people that are in the plant.
Sure. Have you had to, you mentioned workforce. I mean, has there been are you hiring? Are you replacing? Like, what's the dynamic right now in terms of human resources?
We're definitely hiring. We maintain two flexible contract services that we use to fulfill our production operators. Our intention has always been with Teamvantage, even before COVID, attempt to hire or associate to hire kind of a plan. So we really want to hire people, and after a certain amount of hours, they're eligible to be hired here. So, but with people having to stay home because of childcare and things like that I mentioned, we've had to add more people. Our sales and shipments have gone up about 10% because of COVID, just in the last months here. And so we've actually had to, actually hire about 20% more to take account for the people that couldn't be here because of childcare needs.
Are you getting creative with, I mean, are you becoming more flexible? There's only so flexible you can be when you're literally needing to be manufacturing things, but I mean, just in terms of schedules or workflow?
Yeah, we definitely look at schedules. I mean, we pretty much run 24/7, even before this. So we have had to, flex some people's schedules. We have some people that work part-time, try to look at longer shifts to get more time running on the floors, extra coverage, between shifts. So if one shift ends at 4, maybe we have a shift that comes in from 4 to 6, they'll come in earlier to account for, time like that. So we definitely had to be more creative, for sure.
Sure. And at this point, are you seeing things sort of level off? I mean, is the demand that is, COVID-19 related, is that just continuing, or are things kind of getting slightly back in balance?
It's definitely continuing. I think probably October, it will kind of go back in balance again. So we're pretty steady through the month of October. And then I think sales will still be strong, but back to more normal and back to more normal pace. Yeah.
Normal sounds really good right now, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah.
Well, let's talk a little bit just in general. I mean, obviously, medical devices and medical technology is a focus for Teamvantage even before the pandemic. You've been at this a long time, Kelly. I mean, not so long, but I mean, you know a thing or two. So what are you seeing? What are some of the most interesting or exciting innovations that you've noticed in terms of manufacturing in the med tech space?
So I'm all about paperless. So if you came to my office, you wouldn't see any paper. So I've really been trying to push our team to be paperless, and thankfully not things that I've implemented here, but I think without having some of the paperless systems we have now, COVID would have been really hard, especially with a remote workforce. So we definitely are moving more towards electronic. We put in barcoding in the last year and a half, just also because of medical, you have to have your lot numbers, traceability to everything you do. Has to be tied back to a number, the operator, those kind of press, things like that. So we put in barcoding about a year and a half ago. That's definitely helped us increase and have our inventory be more accurate, things like that. So I think the paperless thing is a thing that, is gonna carry on. I think that's a great innovation. We always look to do things different here. I'm a true believer in always continual improvement. You just gotta keep raising the bar constantly. Another thing we're seeing is a lot of our customers don't have the staff to support some of the things that they used to do. So they're actually extending out to their suppliers to say, could you help us with this? And so we need to hire a different level of people here that can assume a task that we maybe in the past didn't have to.
Interesting. Last year, we dove into that in a manufacturing feature in Twin Cities Business, just talking about that a lot of jobs in manufacturing require a higher level of training and education than was the case. And that in some ways with manufacturing, it's kind of a marketing problem that people don't realize how skilled, the jobs really are. Is that changing? Is it evolving?
I think it's definitely changing. I mean, we're definitely looking at providing more support to our customers up front. And like when we get a product in, we can maybe modify the database for them so we can make the part, because they don't have a resource to do it. So we can be ready to go. Hey, we're ready to go. I'll make your mold so we can make your part. But it will take weeks for the customer to make the changes so we can do that. So, we've extended our portfolio to take into account, hey, we can have services on site here that we can do that. I mean, a lot of a lot of suppliers are extending either on the front end or the back end to try to add that value chain, make that value chain longer.
Sure. I want to just remind our viewers that if you have questions for Kelly, now is a great time to post them in the chat or in the Q&A at the bottom of your screen, so we can make sure we get to those before we have to let her go. I could keep asking her questions all day, but I want to give everybody a chance. Kelly, have you noticed any issues this year in the last few months with supply chain, with getting the parts and the materials that you need to get all of this work done?
I would say until about a month ago, we weren't really experiencing anything of that. Thankfully, a lot of our suppliers are US based, so we weren't having the issue with going overseas. However, I would say in the last month, a lot of our suppliers are facing labor issues on their side. So some of their deliveries have been extended as a result. So, we're getting in shipments a couple weeks later than maybe we had planned on. And then of course that puts the pressure on us to have to accelerate that to pick up and hit the schedule. So.
What is your turnaround time normally, if I can put you on the spot?
Yeah, it depends. I mean, we say for just a molded part on average, it's about 8 to 10 weeks. Now that can change depending on if we have material in hand already, and, in stock. Sometimes a lot of the things we do are very custom, so we may have to order special things. But if we've got forecasts from our customers and have some visibility to what they need, we can make sure we have material here on time, and we can definitely beat 8 to 10 week delivery.
Okay. Wanted to just ask you about the manufacturing industry in general. Obviously, a really important industry in Minnesota. It seems, especially as an outsider, it seems like in this time, there's been a lot of collaboration more than competition, sharing of, instructions for how to make, whether it's, face masks or whatever, or shields. Have you noticed that? Do you feel like you're working and collaborating with other companies in a different way?
Yes, I think, to me, the future is all about collaboration. I think we all can add a piece to the puzzle, and I think it's important to collaborate. In Teamvantage, one thing that's very unique about our culture is we're very, very transparent. So we really enjoy working with other suppliers and, figuring out, like you said initially, how to solve the problem. Sometimes we can add value and our suppliers can add value, but how do we work together and be open and honest and have a good communication to solve the problem for whoever the end customer is? So that's really, really, really very important to us.
Great. I want to ask you one more question to leave on a note of leadership. But before we do that, let's just take a moment to hear from one of our sponsors.
Hello, I'm Kate Kelly, Regional President for Minnesota for PNC Bank. We are so happy to be here. What you do in business and in life is a vital part of the ultimate outcome. PNC applauds the 2020 Business Manufacturing Excellent honorees for their many contributions to our local community and to our world. You are leading and making this a better place for all of us. Thank you.
Great. Welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us, everybody. Kelly, before we let you go, I just want to ask, this year, it doesn't matter what business you're in, but I think especially in manufacturing, where the work has been so critical to the needs around the country and world, what would you say you've learned about leadership and about, whether it's managing the workforce, managing the work itself? What are the lessons that you will take forward from this crazy year?
I've learned that a lot of times you're not going to make decisions that people will be happy with. Some of the things we've had to do here, and that's hard. I like harmony and peace, but some things we've had to make, people don't understand sometimes all the decision process you have to go through to get where you are. So we've tried to make decisions based on the best knowledge at the moment. And with COVID, everything has changed. In week to week, things are changing. And so we had to do the best with what we had at that time. So I think you have to be adaptable. I think you need to learn to be flexible. When you make a mistake, you need to say, we called this wrong. We should have done it like this, but we did it like this, but we're going to fix it now, and not be ashamed of that. I think also communication is even more vitally important in times like of a pandemic than ever before. We were probably over communicating to our people, but we really felt that they should know what we were doing and why and how they fit into the picture. And again, when you're making those tough decisions, we have an open door where people can come and ask and say, why did you do this? What were you thinking? And just be accessible to them. And again, I think it's great that we've been on site. So people have access to us, and they can ask questions or talk about some of their concerns or fears or what have you. So
Right. I think we'll look back on this time and so many lessons to be taken from it. Well, Kelly, congratulations on behalf of everyone at Twin Cities Business. We're so thrilled to honor you in the magazine. I hope everybody picks up a copy. We also have the article online at TCB Mag if you want to check it out and learn more about Teamvantage. Thank you for joining us today, Kelly. And thank you to everyone. Thanks to our sponsors, PNC Bank, Pro Staff, and Ware Technology Services, as well as our industry partners, Minnesota Precision Manufacturing Association and the Manufacturers Alliance. We thank everybody for joining us. This was a great way to kick off the series. Please meet us back here again on Thursday. We're going to talk to Brad Roberts. He is from Abbott, the structural heart division. What they're doing is just amazing. The teeny tiny devices that are saving lives. We'll talk about that on Thursday, and this conversation will be posted online, so if you want to share it with others or watch it again, you'll be able to do that at tcbmag.com. Thanks again. Have a great day.